Hey y'all, what's good? What's up? Welcome back to Healing and Hope, the podcast series. I really wanted to say 7 days of daily growth for some reason that popped in my mind, but anyways, how you guys doing? And welcome back to season 3, episode 2, right? So I'm very excited to be doing this episode. I just want to say, I'm probably gonna say things that just be like most people wouldn't say, first of all. But secondly, um, my videos probably won't be long. Like my last one was long, but that's because I needed to like reintroduce myself. I always like to do like an intro episode and like plus a message. So that was kind of like my introduction for season 3. Um, yes, that was like my introduction, and that's what really made it long. I always like to do that because if you have not seen my other YouTube videos, if you have not listened to my podcast, Healing and Hope, if you have not previously done either of those things, then you don't know me. You're just here now, right? So I like to just start off a season by just introducing myself. This is season 3 plus I have like the old YouTube videos. So like I said, if you listen to season 2 of the podcast for the first time, the first video is an introduction. Why? Because you need to know what you're getting into, right? So, yeah, I don't think they're going to be that long. I'm going to try not to make them long. I always say that, and it be long. But it's not on purpose at all. It's not on purpose. But with that being said, I hope you guys have had a great week, and I pray that you guys have an even better week. Yes. So these will be dropping every Sunday. I'm not for sure if I told y'all that, but every Sunday. So I just really pray that, y'all had a good week and that you have a better week, right? I'm excited for this episode because I think I've said this before if you have if you've heard me say it before, but I'm like always this person of like, I don't force a topic. I let a topic come to me. But that does not mean I don't think about topics, right? So of course because I'm so busy. So when I think about the podcast, especially like now, I'm like, okay, what's next? So I finally got the time to do that over the past week. I'm like, okay, well, what's next? And I wanted to talk about focus and like being distracted because like that's something that I'm working on, right? But I was just thinking too much. I was just thinking like, what? And then it hit me on what I wanted to do, and that's kind of what I mean. Is like I let it come to me because I'm not saying that I just wake up and I'm like, Phineas, I know what we're gonna do today. No, it doesn't just hit me like in that way, but I actually do have to put it on my mind first. Like I actually have to put healing and hope on my mind first, and I have to actually think about okay, there's something that is in me, there's something there that I do want to talk about. I just don't know what it is. So let me start to think about what it could be, what I want to touch on, right? And it just comes. And this one just came to me. I was thinking about something totally different, and then this episode came to me, and I was just like, I'm excited. I feel a little unprepared, right? But I'm learning that it's when it comes to feeling unprepared, you just don't need to feel that way because you just never know. Like I, I don't. I be trying to because use different. I use terminology that relates to my life now. It's like I try not to. It's certain things that I'm just trying not to exactly say. um, but I guess you just always just have to be ready. Like you're gonna be unprepared in life sometimes, but you just always gotta be ready too. So it's like I may feel a little bit unprepared, but I'm ready, if that makes sense. So I'm going to just hop into it. And it's so crazy because I started working on what I would talk about over the past few days. And then I've been watching Moana, my first time watching it, right? And I always watch things with my spiritual eyes. I always watch with like, okay, I don't just watch TV. I watch TV, but I only really watch TV when I'm eating, right? I really don't watch TV like all day long or 4 or 5 times out of the day. Like I literally probably watch TV once when I'm eating, because and that's like dinner. Because most of the time I eat breakfast at work. I'm eating breakfast like on the go. I rarely eat breakfast like sitting home, and so yeah, I watch everything with my spiritual eyes, and I have this mindset of okay, what can I learn from this? What can I get out of this? You know, how can this teach me something? How can it help me grow? I told somebody that's probably why I watch TV with the captions on, because I need to see, I need to catch what's being said, so that you know you never know what you might hear, and it can be really helpful to your life. You might really need to hear that. So that's how I watch TV. Like it can even be a show, a series. I still choose to be like, and it might not be the most perfect series, but I still choose to really intently listen and see, okay, well, what can I take from this, you know, and how can I use it and apply it to my own life, right? So I was watching Moana, and I think the main thing about the movie was that she was trying to figure out who she was, because she had like her family, like she had like mostly her dad. She had her dad telling her one thing. She had her, you know, grandma, you know, telling her another thing. But then she had this calling, you know, this voice inside of her telling her something else, right? So even though her grandma was like for her calling, it was still her choice to make, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even if you got people that's for what you want to do, what you feel like you should do, it's still your choice to make. You still have to make that choice. Can't nobody else make it for you, right? So, because they could want it more than you. Like, they want it for you. Her grandma wanted her to go out and, you know, sail beyond the reef and do what she had to do, restore the heart, right? It was such a good movie. It was a good movie. If you ain't seen it, I'm probably gonna tell you all of it right now. But it was a really good movie, and I bet everybody that watched this is like, dang, I didn't even see it like that. But anyway, spiritual eyes. You have to. But anyways, like I was saying, so some people can want something way more for you, but it's still literally your choice. Like I said, her grandma wanted her to choose her calling. She wanted her to choose what had chose her, you know. But her grandma also knew, like, I can't make you do that, you know, because her grandma knew, like, it's her choice. Now her dad was kind of like, you know, this is where you're supposed to be. This is what you gonna do. This is what you were born to do. We don't do that no more. We traditional, you know. Um, but still, even in the midst of that, you know, we as we grow older, we come to a point where, yes, we respect our parents, we love our parents, so we get to an age where we can make our own decisions. So she was able to really make her own choice, her own decision, even if it hurt, you know, her dad or her mom. It's like it's gonna hurt. Like, it's gonna hurt the people that's not for it. They're not for you, right? Well, they're not for what you are called to do or what you want to do. And if you choose to do it, it's gonna hurt them. But that song that she was singing, that's probably not it. But yes, I've been singing that song. I done downloaded that song because that song is like, you gotta really see, like, the words that we take in and put out are really powerful. So you really gotta dissect words. Like, you really gotta dissect words, right? And if you know me, I always give a message before the message. I don't know why I'm like that either. But I always give the message before a message. I don't know. But anyways, you really have to, like, I just go with it. Like, that's how I say, like, I felt unprepared, but you always gotta stay ready, right? You always gotta stay ready. And I'm ready. I'm ready, right? So that song is just, it's deep. Well, to me it was. It's very deep. But yeah, she just was trying to figure out who she was, and that was one of the things that she had to ask herself at the end, like, who am I? You know, she kept saying it the whole movie, like, I am Moana of Mawatini, I don't know. But she kept saying it, but you can say something all you want to, but it's like, do you really believe that that's who you are? You know, do you really know that that's who you are? Because at the end of the day, That's who she really was. And when she went back home, she put her little seashell on the rock that her dad was telling her in the beginning, like, one day you're gonna put your rock up here. And so that's who she is, but she had to go figure that out for herself. She had to go on that journey. She had to go on that path and figure out, who am I? And throughout that journey, she was able to figure that out. She was able to see. And she was able to conquer, you know, she was able to conquer, you know, what she had to conquer so that she could really stand in who she was, right? Who she's always been. But sometimes we don't know who we are, and we have to really journey. We have to journey to find that out. We have to seek to find ourselves. We have to go through something to really find ourselves. We have to take certain paths to really find who we are, really. And it's not until we find who we are that we recognize this is who I've always been, you know? So it was really, and it was so crazy because but the crazy part is that I named this episode, before I watched this movie, right? I named the episode, Who Am I? So this episode is called Who Am I? And I just got a Disney Plus back, and out of nowhere, actually I had seen that they about to come out with a number 2, like maybe like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe like a month ago. I don't know. I don't remember. But I had seen that it was about to come out with a second movie, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it. But I was like, I didn't even watch the first one. So a couple of weeks ago, well, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I got Disney Plus back. I really wanted Hulu, but I ended up getting both, doing the most, right? And because I watched X-Men, so X-Men is on, and they finally put all the movies out there. But anyway, X-Men is really good too. But I was like, I want to watch Moana. Like, I want to, I just want to watch it. And it was right on time. But like I said, I had already did the title. So when I was finishing it, because I don't, even sometimes I don't finish like a movie, I'm probably not going to finish that in one set. Because like I said, I only watch TV when I eat. So I actually finished it. I started it last night and I finished it. I started it the night before and I finished it last night. And like I said, at the end, she was singing and, she was talking about her grandma because at this point, she had given up. She was like, you chose the wrong person, choose somebody else. Like, this is not me. This is not who I am. I cannot do this. Like, just having this mindset of, like, a loser, right? After she failed to do what she was called to do or asked to do, right? She felt like she had failed. So, she was basically the movie, it was like the ocean chose her, right? Because it's I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to say Native American movie because I really don't know. I don't know who they were portraying, honestly. But I know it was like, anyways, I'm not going to get into all that. But yes, the ocean had chose her, right? So she was telling that she was in the sea, and she was telling the sea like, well, she was on a boat in the sea, and she was telling the sea like, you chose somebody else. Anyway, so her grandma comes and as a spirit, and just helps her. Her grandma, and again, her grandma is not. It's so crazy because her grandma is not telling her what to do, what not to do. Her grandma is allowing her to make her own decisions, but her grandma is also pushing her. She's like, her grandma's like, you want to go back home, and she is like about to put the oar in the water, but she hesitates, and her grandma's like, okay, well, why are you hesitating, right? So not even saying like go back home or stay, but ask, like, really getting her to think and see, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you hesitating? If you want to go back home, if you feel like you're a failure, if you feel like the ocean was wrong for choosing you, then why are you hesitating to go back? What you know what I'm saying? What is in you that's making you hesitate right now in this moment? So making her think, making her reflect on how far she's come, where she's come from, what she was called to do, like all these different things, right? So she had to really figure out, okay, well, who am I? Right? And so let's get into it. So I'm going to just go ahead and read the definition of self-reflection. Self-reflection is the process of examining your thoughts, feelings, and actions and the reasons behind them. It can also involve making meaning from your experience in relationships, right? Um, and self reflection can help you grow in self awareness. It can help you grow in self awareness, right? Um, because you're able to understand like why you do what you do, right? And so another definition is self reflection is the ability to witness and evaluate one's own cognitive, emotional, and behavioral processes, right? So it's like, like reflecting, like looking back, right? And so we're going to get into what I got to say. So, truth be told, a lot of us don't know who we are, and a lot of us are not willing to find out. Because, truth be told, we don't even know where to start. We don't even ask the question. Like, how many of y'all ever really ask the question, "Who am I?" Like, that's a good question, and I think I'm already 5, 10 steps ahead of myself because I think this is later in the notes. So maybe I have already given y'all the message in what I just said, right? But ultimately, I feel like we don't know where to start. But it starts with asking that question, "Who am I?" And if you do not know, then you can start trying to figure it out, find out, right? So you have to ask the question, "Who am I? What am I here for? What is my purpose? Why have I been through the things I've been through? Why have I gone through the things I've gone through? Why have I experienced this? Why have I experienced that? Why have I seen this? Why have I seen that? Why did I go through this? Why did I go through that?" I don't think I said that already, but if I did, maybe you need to hear it again. Who am I? And it's a heavy, loaded, it's a hard question. It's really a hard question. Y'all see my dog? Y'all might can't see him on the camera. He right here. So just like with the movie, right? Her dad was telling her who she was and what she needed to do. He was telling her identity because of what she was born into, because of their tradition. So we as people, we have so many people from birth, already placing things on us, who we are, who we should be, you know. And when that's constantly piled upon us, when our family or friends or society is telling us who we are, we cannot see who we are for ourselves. It's impossible because this person told me I'm dead and I should do this, and I'm dead and I this, and society say I should do this, and this is who we are. You know, how can I see who I really am? Why would I even go search if somebody's already told me, and I kind of feel like that's right. I mean, if I think about it, maybe this is who I am, right? So we don't question it. We don't question it. We just let it be what it is. But that's not how it should be. We should want to know who we really are. And so, like I said, I was 2 steps ahead, right? Because I asked, I've already asked, but I want you guys to really meditate on who am I, you know? Um, and when you think about it, I feel like we all would have the same surface level answers. Because, like I said, family, society, friends, whatever has told us who we are. So 9 times out of 10, a lot of us gonna have the same answers. A lot of surface based answers, right? So just really, I think we should firstly take the time out to meditate on who we are. Firstly, and it's like if we all have the same answers, then how are we all unique or different or special? If we all, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that work? Like, a lot of people, say like I'm different or I'm unique, but it's like How? You know, if I ask one person who are you, they list out some things. I go down the street, ask somebody else, who are you? They list out some things. I go down the street, ask the next person, who are you? They list out some things. It's gonna be some similarities. It's gonna be some, like 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be some similarities to that answer to the question. So it's very surface level, the answer to that question. So to me, to really find out who you are, you have to dig below the surface. You got to really scratch just more than the surface, you know, within yourself. You have to dig deep within yourself. You can't think surface level. You can't think, oh, I am what somebody else has coined you to be or told you who you were. You have to really dig inside of yourself and who am I? And you literally do not figure that out in just one day. Like, just because I have this topic, and you go and meditate for one night, you're not gonna know who you are. just to let you know, just to save you some time, you're not gonna know because, again, like the movie, she had to travel a whole sea. She had to go through so much to finally see who she was. And it took a lot of bravery. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, man, she brave. Like, I would have never went out on this. I would have never went out. Yeah, get somebody else to do it, you know? It is really cute how they chose her since birth, right? But when I was looking at it, I was like, man, like, that's real bravery to, really follow your calling like that, what you was called for, right? Because again, the ocean chose her. So I felt when I was watching, I was like, man, she was brave. First and foremost, she was very brave to go. She didn't even know how to sail. She was very much unprepared. She didn't even know how to sail. Like, Maui ended up teaching her how to be better. So she was like, I'm self-taught. That was so wicked. But that's how it be sometimes. Like, somebody might ask me, like, how did you, I don't know. You just gotta go out there. I don't know if I would have ever went out on the sea like that, not knowing what I was doing. But I guess that's why it's a movie. But there might be people out here that's actually like done that before. But I don't know. You're really brave, really, really brave. But I just felt like she was very brave. But it wasn't just about going out into the sea. It was really about her finding herself and having to go through everything that she went through to be able to do that, right? To really dig deep with it, deep inside of her, and know that I can do this, And even in her failure, when she broke down to her knees crying, even within that failure, she needed a little bit of a push. Her grandma came, because sometimes we need that we need that reminder. That's how I feel about her grandma in that moment. That was her reminder of why she was in that position on that seat in the first place. She was so close already to what she had came to do. So sometimes, like, after that breakdown, there if you really look deep enough, there's going to be a reminder of why you are there in that moment. Even though you might have failed, there's going to be a reminder. Something's going to come where you're reminded of why. But it's still your choice to get back up after you're reminded. So after her grandma came back and, was like, it's your choice. She still had to choose to not go back home and to keep fighting, to keep journeying, to keep finding herself through this process, of restoring the heart, of restoring the light in the dark. Okay. But anyways, yeah, you really have to seek for the answer. So like I said, it's not, you can meditate this on this for a week. You're still not going to know, because you really have to make a conscious choice and decision to seek to find who am I, right? You have to go searching for the answer to that question. And it's so crazy that I watched this movie, but it's so crazy how it all connected because I literally thought of this. I thought of this episode before this movie, so it's really, really crazy how it's so connected. It's just MTB meant to be, but I don't. And I want to say at the time she wasn't even realizing that she was searching for the answer of who she was. I just really think she had the bravery and she really wanted to show her people like we can do what we did before. Like I really think she was really, she had other intentions in mind. I don't think one of her biggest intentions was to figure out who she was. I think mostly to start with, I think like she wanted to really show her family like we can do what we used to do, what our ancestors used to do. And she wanted to prove it to herself like I can do this. Like I can be brave and I can go out here and I can go find this person and we can go restore. Like I can do this because I was chosen to do it. I can do it, but not realizing along the way that she would find herself. Because even if you think about it, she kept saying, "I am Moana but she had to keep saying it. That means that she really believed it. Because at first she didn't even know how to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like she could say the words, but was she really believing in the words? Right? That's so good. You just so good. So I think for this episode, I really wanted to touch on the act of reflecting and self-reflection, because that is really how you find yourself and why self-reflection is how you really find yourself is because self-reflection is literally a journey. It's literally something that you do every day, right? It's literally something that you must do every day. You must reflect on each and every day because there's so much to us. There's so much layered on us that we have to continuously peel back. So each day you're going to be figuring something out about yourself, but you won't figure it out if you're not seeking to figure it out, if you're not reflecting to figure it out. Even like in a bad day, like you still get to, if you self-reflect, if you have the worst day ever, but if you come home to yourself and you self-reflect on that day, you are peeling back another layer of who you are and how you can change, how you can grow from how your day went, right? So, yeah. So first of all, like before you do anything, you have to know what it means. And I basically already told you guys what it means, but I'm gonna run it back. The process of examining your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and the reasons behind them. So, like the example I just used, like you having a bad day, but you come like again, you come home to yourself and you're able to self reflect, right? So you're able to sit down and examine how you were thinking that day, even before the day started. And throughout the day, how was my thoughts? How did I feel when I woke up this morning? How did I feel in that moment? What were my actions during this bad day? Like, did I try to turn it around or did I make it worse? You know? And then understanding, like, why you even reacted in such a way to make the day, worse. Like, sometimes, like, I can be so frustrated at work and I don't help the frustration because of how I react. Like, somebody can frustrate me, but I don't have to be like, oh, dang, like, they just killed me. I don't have to do that, I can just be like, you know what? It's okay. I'm a little frustrated, but I'm gonna put a smile on my face. So so now if I react in a way where I'm like, oh, dang, I need to understand why I did that instead of doing the opposite, right? So that's self-reflection because if I understand is so okay, basically if I go home and I reflect on how I reacted when I got frustrated, right, and it just turned my day whole sour, then I need to understand that there's still a part of me who is easy to get angry and upset and frustrated, and moving off of emotion. And I need to see that within myself. And I need to say, okay, I need to work on this. How can I work on this? Right? So that's what self-reflection looks like. And self-reflection, I had just thought about this yesterday. Self-reflection is one of the realest things that you can do. It's one of the realest things that you can do. Self-reflection is like being real with yourself. And in this day of time, we gotta start being honest and real with ourselves. I talk to myself a lot. I talk to myself a lot. If I didn't talk to myself, I wouldn't have grown as far as I've been growing. That's one of the reasons that I'm able to grow, because I feel like because I talk to myself, you know, and that's one of the ways I reflect, by talking to myself. I guess he can't find a comfortable spot. I guess he can't find a comfortable spot to lay in. But it's like, why do you? But it's like, why do you think so many people remain the same though? They afraid of what they're gonna see. But even if I'm self-reflecting and I see something that I don't like, I'm just like, oh man, I'm honest. I'm just like, like my. But anyways, I'm like, oh man, it's not pretty, it's not good, but that ain't my reaction. Like, oh man, like, dang. Yeah, that ain't right, Nay. You could have did better. You was wrong. You was wrong. You was wrong. That wasn't right. What? That wasn't a good heart to have. That wasn't a good thing to say. You was being rude. Any if that's what I have to tell myself, that's what I tell myself though. I keep it real with myself. That ain't right, and you need to fix that. Because if something is wrong, we need to correct it in order to move forward. And one thing y'all know is that I speak to everybody. My message is for everybody. I want everybody to be on a path of really growing, healing, developing, maturing, everything. I'm about to quote the Bible, but yes. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Okay, sorry. I just had to say that. That's in Revelation. But it's so true though. It's like, I speak to those who hear. You gotta be willing to hear. You gotta be willing to listen. In order to receive the most out of something. When somebody's giving you something, you have to be willing to receive it and listen to it and take it and apply it. That's what I learned as a student. Like, I have to be willing to receive this. I gotta be thankful to receive it, and I gotta see it as value to my life, or it's not gonna help my life. If I don't see it as valuable, if I don't see it as useful, if I'm not thankful to be receiving it, then it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be helpful. So I genuinely speak to those who really want to hear it and really want to, start to grow within their life. And sometimes what I say ain't always, pretty, but you gotta, if I'm real with myself, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, even we know in the world, like, if somebody's not real with themselves, they never gonna be real with you. Never. If they cannot be real to themselves, how can they be real to you? So it's like, I keep it real with myself, so I'm gonna keep it real with people. I'm gonna tell you, because I will sit and tell myself. I'm gonna say it to myself, even when it's hard. It's hard to be real with myself sometimes. I will be the first to say that. It's hard to see myself sometimes, but I still choose it because I want to keep growing within my life. So I suck it up and I say, I'm going to self-reflect. I'm going to look at keep going this journey of finding out who I am. You know, until so I put my stone on that rock. You know, when it's solidified, when I know. And you know one thing about me is like I know who I am though. I've been on that journey and I found who I am. And it's such a beautiful thing to find who you are. But I'm speaking this message because a lot of people have not or do not. Like if you ask that question and you reflect on that, how deep can you really go and answer about who you are? So to me, there's still some seeking and some searching that people have to do. And so I'm giving out this message because that's the truth. But it takes the willingness. It takes you being willing to look at yourself. And this is one of the messages that I always speak because it's the realest one, it's the truest one, it's the start to it all. Becoming self-aware, right? And I'm about to wrap this up. So yeah, a lot of people are afraid of what they're gonna see. But like I said, it's not easy. So you might as well just stop being afraid and just accept your good and your bad. Accept your light and your dark. You know, just go ahead and be prepared. It's still stuff about me that I'm still like, but I accept it and I'm like, okay, this is what's still inside of me, but I want to change it. I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want that to be within me anymore. That's not who I want to be anymore. So, okay, how can I change this? How can I work on it? Right? So it's always a choice. And I was just telling somebody, I was talking to a friend about growth this morning, and I told him like it's a choice, you know, and you don't do it for nobody else. You do it for yourself. Like with Moana, she had her dad, she had her grandma, but she still made the choice to go out to the sea. That was her choice. Even in the song in the beginning, she was like, I could stay here, but am I really gonna be happy? I could choose to not self-reflect. I could still choose to be my old self, but am I gonna be happy? I could choose to settle, but am I gonna be happy? Or do I find happiness in seeking and reflecting on myself and wanting to change? I found happiness in that. Because I see when I started to do it, I'm like, wow, you know, it's possible. It's possible to not be who I used to be. It's possible to do the work. It's possible to really see myself and accept myself for who I am. And be willing to not be that person anymore. A lot of people think like this is what I always be like. If you got this sort of mindset, you already lost out here. And not like lost, like just roaming aimlessly, but you've already lost the war I was just talking about in the last episode. You can't have that type of mindset, oh, this is who I always been. That's not because it's possible. You know, and it's so much happier on the other side of self-reflecting, you know, of seeking, of searching, of asking, of knocking. Y'all know I'm a Bible girl. Come on now. But yeah, there's so much happiness on the other side, you know. Why settle with what society or people has told you who you are when you can go find who you are? When you can go figure out who who am I really, you know? Because who we think we are not. But that's a journey for you. You have to journey. I've consciously chose to take my journey, but each and every individual. What Inky Johnson said: each man must search his own soul, as in human. Each individual, each one of us must search our own soul. And our soul is deep within us. So you have to dig deep within yourself. You have to search your own soul. You have to choose to take that journey, to walk that path. You got to choose to go into that sea. You got to be brave enough. You got to be courageous enough. And you got to be willing, and you got to want to do it. It's this or that. But you got to be willing to reflect every day on yourself so that you can grow. Because nobody is perfect. And it's scary. So it's okay to be afraid or not want to look at yourself. It's very scary. Like, dang, this is what I really am. Like, I thought I was a good person for real. You know, like, I thought I was this. I thought I was that. Like, I didn't know I was this bad anyway. All this going on. But ultimately, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary, you know. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, right? When you don't, but it's like, honestly, I would rather look in the mirror and know who I'm looking at versus look in the mirror and have no idea who's staring back at me. Like, that's just me. I would rather know who is looking back at me versus not knowing who this person is in the mirror. Excuse me. So, it doesn't have to be that way if you can learn how to dissect yourself. Dissect that person in the mirror. Who is she? Who is he? And the person, I'm going to say the person, but it ultimately was my choice, but God really helped me to really see, you know, who I am, right? But I believe if you can really see yourself, then you can see where you need to go next, what you need to do next. And you can, you know, navigate life better. Right? So always being, you know, I'm always self-reflecting. Because that's how I can move forward. You know? And I think this is a topic because I've recently been doing it a lot. Realizing a lot. So that, you know, when you realize stuff, you know, when you like, oh man, okay, this is what it is, this is what it's not, this is why, this is, you know, when you get to that point, you can really use it for growth. But there's a difference between your mind racing and self-reflection. I want to touch on that part. Like, mind racing thoughts are different from self-reflection. You know? So having a million things going on in your mind versus actually genuinely sitting back and choosing to consciously self-reflect is different. It's not getting lost in your thoughts, but it's actually, you know, finding solutions within your life, right? So don't think because you sit back thinking yourself into a hole all day, that's self-reflection. That's not self-reflection. Self-reflection has a purpose to it, a reason behind it, and you're able to grow from it. When you just lost in your thoughts, you just stuck. Nothing comes from that. There's no growth from that. You're just going deeper and deeper and deeper. There's nothing, you know, right? You can't do anything with getting lost in your thoughts, but you can do something with self-reflection and actually applying it to your life. So it's just all about, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I can do. This is what I don't need to do. This is what's helpful. This is what's not helpful. This is who I am. This is what I like to do. This is what I don't like to do. This is what I want to start doing. This is what I want to stop doing because it doesn't help. It's not beneficial. But I found that, when I do this, this is very beneficial. You know. So, who are you? That's like the meditation question, of course. Who are you? But really, learn to put self-reflection in your life. Where I've come from, where I am now, and where I want to go. That self-reflection can help you get to where you want to go. Even if you don't know where that is. Even if you don't know where that is, you still go. You still go. You still seek, within yourself. You still search within yourself. You still dig within yourself. Even if you do not know what you're going to find. Even if you do not know what you are going to see. Even if you do not know what will be brought up or will be dug up. Do not be afraid, because it's simply things that you're going to have to work through. That's it and that's all. When I self-reflect and there's something that comes up that it's like, okay. It's me realizing that, okay, I got some more stuff to work through. I got some more stuff to work on. And that's okay. It's okay. I'm not nobody's perfect. I just have to choose to do the work now. So that I can step over that. Get over that. Fix and correct that. So that even the next time I'm put in a situation, I can remember what I reflected on and I can move differently. I can navigate life better. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a lovely week. I've already said it, but have a lovely week, a better week than last week. Thank you guys for watching, for tuning in to Healing and Hope. I love you guys from my heart to yours.